Music with Monali. I'm Monali. Welcome to my special announcement video slash very personal nothing's off the table Q&A. Have a lot of questions, so I'm going to get right to it. Some of them I'm a little nervous to answer. But anyway, I hope that it gives you some insight into me. And I hope that it makes you, I don't know, maybe you'll like me more. Maybe you'll hate my guts. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Question number 1 is from Kenneth. Who are your favorite musicians, artists? Also, I know this is off topic, but what are some of your favorite movies, either past or present? Thanks. Okay, Kenneth. Well, favorite artists, musicians, that's really tough because I like so many different genres and decades that I feel like I have favorites in each one. So, of course, as you know, I am huge into retro things. I don't look like it right now. I just got done making a big pot of chili for dinner, and that's what I look like. And I've been like reorganizing my kitchen. But anyway, so when it comes to that, Bing Crosby is my all-time favorite. I also love Rosemary Clooney, and I like, Doris Day, the Andrews Sisters. I like Billie Holiday. I like Benny Goodman. I like Artie Shaw. I like Lynn Miller. So anyway, there's a lot there that I like. Helen Forrest, of course, is a big one. But beyond that, of course, as you know, I love Adele, and I love the Cranberries, Postmodern Jukebox, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Volbeat, 3 Days Grace. I'm trying to think. When it comes to country, I really like Cody Jinks, Chris Stapleton. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I know that doesn't really narrow anything down. Favorite movies? Okay, well, I love White Christmas. I love Holiday Inn. I love Casablanca, Midnight in Paris, Shawshank Redemption, Goodfellas, Black Hawk Down, The Wedding Singer, Dumb and Dumber, The Big Lebowski. There's just so many. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm sorry, Kenneth, if that did not narrow it down at all. I do like TV shows a lot lately. So The Office, It's Always Sunny, Archer, Justified. Yeah. Okay. Sean says, I have no musical abilities at all, none. I have a 5-year-old granddaughter that I would like to introduce to music to see how she likes it. My problem is that since I have no musical abilities, how can I help her on the music journey? Is there a teaching aid program that we can do from home that you know of? Oh gosh, okay. So she's 5, so that means she is in kindergarten, or going into kindergarten. So for that, I recommend, they have these keyboards and they're not expensive, like that big, and they have colors on them, and they come with books that she can associate the color. Also with this age, I really just recommend introducing music. You don't have to teach music per se. You could just introduce it and get the brain used to hearing these types of music. And I always recommend classical. I don't mean you have to listen to that Mozart baby thing. No. Each week I choose a different, era for my daughters to listen to in the morning when I'm making breakfast and we're getting stuff ready or whatever. And so I know that Charlotte's favorite thus far is the Renaissance. So anytime that I play Renaissance music, if it's the week for Renaissance, she's loving it. And I when I first introduced it, I said, just listen to how the music goes, and this is how they would dance. And I showed her how they would bow and do the walking around, and she loved it. So that's her favorite. It got to the point where I've cycled through so much that when we got back to Bach, she was playing on the floor and it started playing and she said, oh, not Bach. So she recognized it. And at the time, she had just turned 5, I think. So I really recommend starting with classical pieces, starting with, the Renaissance and Baroque period, things like that. And just having them hear it. Also, live music is great. So especially during Christmas time, churches, schools, they have concerts, choral concerts. And a lot of times they're free, at least they used to be, but now they might be charging, but it's never much. And I recommend seeing those because there's something about hearing the harmony come at you, not in earphones, but really hearing it in your ears, hearing the way that the acoustics are set up and the way the choir is set up in, they're kind of like in a curved thing, and like the altos are kind of close to the tenors, which are, and how it's set up is just amazing, and how it hits your ears. It can really, hearing that, I think, really shows an appreciation. And it's fun. So I think starting out like that, and then maybe the keyboard thing that has the colors on it is a great way. You can also YouTube preschool music lessons or kindergarten music lessons, and they come up, and a lot of them are really cute. I don't recommend one that's any longer than 15 or 20 minutes. That's too long staring at a screen for a kid. They're not really going to get anything out of that, especially at that young age. Okay, David says, what is your day job? Okay, well, I feel like it's a loaded question. Right now, my day job is stay-at-home mom, homemaker, podcaster. I am also writing a book, a middle grade teen historical novel about the American Revolution. And I'm working with a professor here at the University of Colorado, and she is huge into the American Revolution, and she's helping me with it. It's been really fun. It got put on hold with COVID because she wasn't going into work anymore, and it just got put on hold. So now I'm picking it back up again. I'm excited about that. I also do, my podcast about vintage parenting and vintage homemaking and just being kind of a vintage woman and everything that entails. And I homeschool my girls up until kindergarten, and they start kindergarten. So Charlotte started kindergarten at a charter school, and Audrey, I am now currently homeschooling preschool. But when I'm not doing those things, I have a degree in English and a master's in early childhood library and information science. So when both of my girls are in school, maybe I'll go back to work and be a school librarian, because that's what I did. So yeah, loaded question. Okay, so Chuck says, what kind of radio stations did you grow up listening to? This is a mild question of your age. That's not important to the question. I'm really wondering if you worked in, quote, real stations or, quote, managed ones, which played, yes, top hits, but the DJs also selected at least a few favorites of their own. Okay, so, yeah. I am 37, and so growing up, I would listen to Casey Kasem on the weekends, and I would listen to Top 40, and I would lay on my stomach and record on a cassette tape, just waiting, hit, pause, record, stop, stop. I also listened to my stupid microphone. I'm sorry if I keep hitting it, but it's it goes out. Delilah, especially during Christmas time. I liked the cheesiness of her in middle school and high school, and I would listen to oldies because I really liked 50s music and doo-wop, and of course rock. My mom liked rock, so I listened to that. I guess really what everybody else was listening to growing up. But when I was on the radio, I worked at managed stations, and the reason I put that in quotes is because I was on a rock morning show, and it was my own. So I would put in songs that I wanted to play. I did my PT power hour because we lived in military cities. So from 5 to 6, I would just play the most hardcore, pump you up rock songs for guys going to PT. I would do my all request 90s at 9. And so that would be all 90s alternative. So I snuck stuff in there I like to play. Before I got pregnant and stopped working, I was starting a evenings program on Sunday night called B-Side Betties. And I was very retro, pin-up then. I was very rockabilly back then. And so it would be the B-side of a lot of your favorite bands that maybe you didn't know what was on the B-side of the albums because you don't really buy CDs or tapes anymore. And so, I hope that answered. If you grew up with these stations available, were they influential in your choice of radio? Yeah. I didn't want to work somewhere where everything was just already programmed in and I had no say. I like take requests. I like to really be there as much as possible. Okay, so Hank R. says, what is your favorite holiday? My husband would say that my favorite holiday is whatever holiday is coming up because I get that excited. But of course, Christmas. Christmas is my favorite. I also love 4th of July. But Christmas, I go all out for Christmas. I mean, all out. Okay, so here's Dave, and he has a couple questions. So he says, now the question, in all honesty, what are your thoughts of the Music with Monali channel? Do you feel you're getting the right audience? Did you feel you were getting the right requests? Was it too much for the workload of family and other issues? And when you stop, what part will you miss the most? Okay, well, the right audience. That's kind of hard to say because I feel like there is no right audience with music. I think if people are enjoying the music that I'm reacting to, or at least enjoying my reactions to those music, then I think that's the right audience. Did you feel you were getting the right requests? Um, yes and no. I feel like some of the requests, I don't want to say I got any bad requests because it's what people wanted me to react to, but I feel like a lot of them were so obscure that it didn't really reach that many people. And I feel like the point of my channel was I was hoping to introduce music that's being introduced to me, if that makes sense. So, is it too much of a workload of family and other issues? Yes, kind of. Because when you have two small children, I mean, it's difficult if one gets sick, or it's, when you have a husband in special forces like mine and he's gone, he's deployed, he's overseas. My husband just got back from overseas actually, like this past weekend, so it can be very difficult. But I mean, for the most part, it actually isn't that bad. But when I'm trying to concentrate on other things like my book, my podcast, things that I feel like are my number one passions, then sometimes it can feel a bit forced, and I don't ever want it to do that. So I think that's why sometimes I go a while without making a video, and that's because I want to make sure that my reactions are genuine and I'm not just trying to rush through them. And when I stop this, what part will I miss the most? Oh man, interacting on Patreon with my patrons, because I feel like some I've had for 2 years, some have been on there for 2 years, some for a year, and I like talking about music with them, and I like being able to debate things, and it feels like just having friends, online, and I like that. And I will miss people commenting and saying, "Oh my God, I've never heard this before. This is my new favorite band." So it's like I feel like I introduce people. I won't miss the hate. A lot of the hate comments. Ooh. So Chris G says, if you never got into music as a singer or a DJ, what would have been your next career choice? What I did, being a librarian. I think my next passion was reading and writing. And I feel like the best way to do that is to be a librarian. You're surrounded by books. You're getting inspiration. You're seeing what works, what people like. And then you can use your ideas as a writer and turn it into something that will work, something people will like. You don't reinvent the wheel, right? Sarah says, you said we could ask anything. Are you religious or spiritual at all? I am not religious. I am spiritual. I believe that energy is neither created nor destroyed. I believe in reincarnation. I believe that our souls have lessons to learn. And I believe in God, not really God of the Bible with the thou shalt, the beard and but I do believe in a all-powerful something that is all love. And I believe that our souls are continuous. I don't know. Let's see. Greg says, do you have any regrets, any you can share? Yeah, I think when I was younger in my 20s, I was very spontaneous, I guess you could say. Impulsive might be the right word. And I feel like I was too big for my britches in a lot of ways. I feel like I could have really worked my way up in radio more so if I would have, instead of resisting authority, resisting management, if I would have been like, okay, they've been in this a lot longer than me, they know what they're doing, and listened more, I think I could have really had a good career there. I think if I would have continued projects that I started, I think a lot of those could have taken off. I regret a lot of my crazy years from like 19 to 23. That included a lot of wild nights that I wish I wouldn't have done. So, but other than that, I mean, and even those, I was a really good cheerleader in high school. I was a runner-up for Georgia All-State Cheerleader of the Year. And I made the all-star team, which was only about 7 girls in Georgia that made it. I cheered some in college, but then I didn't like having to get up on Saturday mornings and practice half the day, which I don't know why I wouldn't like that. I love cheerleading. I guess because I wanted to party. I don't know. And I wish I would have continued that and maybe gone to be like an NFL cheerleader or something like that. Yeah. I guess those are some of the regrets I have. And some people might think those are kind of shallow regrets, but they're mine, Josie says, if you could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? I would love to go to Europe. I want to do a World War II tour of Europe. Luckily, my husband is down with that. He would like to as well. I really want to see concentration camps. I want to see... my grandpa was one of the soldiers that were there when they liberated... I don't remember if it was Birkenau or the one that starts with a D. I can't think of it. But he was at one of those. And I would just love to stand there in front of the gates and see, kind of feel where he was when they were liberating all those Jews from just that horrible, awful situation. Just absolutely brutal. And I want to see where the soldiers landed at Normandy, and I want to see Point du Hoc, and I want to see just everything that these guys went through in World War II, and just, because, I love the 40s, and I feel like I was there, and I want to see it, I want to feel it. So that would be my main one. So France, Germany, Austria, Poland. My husband was just in Poland, and he said that at least the part he was in wasn't that great. I guess it would be more on the border, like where Germany is. That would be where I'd want to go. And just do the Paris things. Like I want to go to a cafe and, drink some wine and I don't know, stuff like that. Let's see. Kyle, you are a librarian. What book are you currently reading? I'm actually almost done with the book I'm currently reading. It's a historical fiction novel. It's called A Bookseller's Secret, a novel of Nancy Mitford and World War II. It is by Michelle Gable, and it is really good. Nancy Mitford was actually a real novelist, author back in World War II, and her family was crazy. She had like a Nazi sister, a fascist sister, it was just crazy, her family. But she wasn't. She was patriotic for Britain and the Allies, and she is married to this guy who ends up leaving, and all this part is true, and she doesn't hear from him for like 3 years. He's fighting, but they don't really get along anyway, and then she falls in love with this French colonel who is like ugly, but he's amazing, and it's just crazy. But the book, how she intertwines this historical fiction is really interesting. Okay, lastly is Chris. Who did you vote for in 2020? Okay, well, I said nothing was off the table. Who did you vote for in 2020 and why? Okay, I voted for Trump. Why? Because I don't want socialism. Because Biden has been in Washington for 47 years and has done nothing but made racial comments and horrible, horrible laws and acts and all this horrible things. And I want a free America that is self-reliant, that is strong in constitutional values, that is military strong, that is not weak to other countries, that is secure at our borders. And coming from me being Iranian, my dad coming over here legally and working hard to become a citizen and being more patriotic than anybody I've ever met, it can be done. Don't have to come over here legally. And I want my daughters going to school. That's why I have them in charter school, because like I said, I'm not religious, so I don't want to send them to a private school, but a school where they are not learning gender studies and sex ed in kindergarten, which was a bill that was getting close to being passed in Colorado, where they would start learning sex ed as early as pre-K. I don't want that. I want them learning what they should be learning, and I want parents involved, and I don't want this wokeness entering their heads. So I voted for Trump. And if he runs in 2024, I'll do it again. Because right now, this country's going to crap. Really fast. Let's go, Brandon. Okay, so that was a really fun Q&A, and I'm sure I lost 1/4 of my subscribers with that last question. Thank you for that. But that's fine. Whatever. I don't really feel like that has anything to do with music. Now for my big announcement. And my big announcement is this. I have one more video coming out, and it was a special request that I do because I won't be doing anymore. YouTube has now blocked almost all my videos. A few get through, a few are partially blocked, but it's to the point now where I can't do anything. I don't want to pause my videos every 5 seconds, and even if I did, it doesn't work. There's something with their algorithm where I don't know how people are doing it, and maybe I'm just not technologically inclined enough. But I will no longer have a Patreon. I will no longer have any of that. I'm not saying I won't make a video every now and then, but it's not going to be like on the regular like it is now. My channel will still be up. I'm not going to delete my channel, but I'm just kind of got fed up and jaded with YouTube. So I just don't know why reviewing music, talking about a song is copyrighted. I'm not claiming it as my own. I'm not using it as my theme song. I'm not using it as my intro music. I'm literally listening to it and talking about it. So that was my big announcement, and that's why I did this very all-inclusive Q&A, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I've enjoyed it, all of it. So thanks. Music with Monali. Cheers.